the fourth lecture that deals in this series on refugee crisis is on India and the refugees. So, in regards to the role of India on the refugees inside India, we would like to discuss the very introduction that in which we found that India is not a signatory to the Convention of 1951, which was regarding determination of the status of refugees also. India is not a signatory to the Protocol of 1967. In spite of that, many different refugees are given asylum and settled in India. So, in that regard, first we would like to discuss about the Jewish refugees, and that we could divide in between two parts in our discussion. And one is in relation to the ancient period, and that resulted such Jews refugees who came to India and settled as the result of the kingdom of Judah, which was established in the ancient period. And another major factor, that is the 10 lost tribes of Israel, and out of which one came to the Indian subcontinent, and that particular the tribe of Mansia, and in particular they are considered as Bani Mansi. So also at the British time, the very estimate of those number of refugees in 1930s and 1940s, as per the British estimate, it was in between 20,000 to 50,000 Jews refugees found in different parts of India. And at the very beginning, in ancient period, Jews, they settled and came into Malabar region, and they were considered as the Cochin Jews, and almost they came around 68 AD, and then in 1670 AD, some Jews they settled at Madras province and considered as the Madras Jews, and in 1768 AD, the Bene Jews, they also came and settled at Surat or in Gujarat, and also in Maharashtra, and another kind of Jews settlers or refugees considered as Baghdadi refugees, Jews refugees. They came and settled in India, mostly in Gujarat, during the 1730 AD. And as at present we found the Jews refugees in India, in particularly as Bani Malaysia in Mizoram and Manipur, and the very number of Jews refugees of the category of Bani Mensa is around 9,000. And also we found another group of Jews refugees identified as Beni Ephraim were found in Andhra Pradesh also. Certain categories of Jews were found in Pahalgans in New Delhi area. So also the refugees in the Holocaust that occurred due to the Second World War under the Nazis in Germany, and during 1938 and 1947 the very number of Jews they fled to India due to the Holocaust, and they were considered as Holocaust refugees. The number was only 200 as per the statistics provided by the government of India. And at present, specifically, we found those Jews refugees in India, around 5,000 exclusively. They are settling in Mumbai. And now we would like to go to another important refugee settlement or influx of refugees from Persia. And it was began from 12th to 16th century AD. So almost the Persian refugees, those who came from Iran and settled due to the prosecution by the Islamic State of Iran, and almost it was started in 12th century and continued up to 16th century, and mostly due to the Islamic prosecution of the Persians, those who were believers of Zoroastrian religion. And their number of Persian refugees as they at present are settled in all the parts of west coast of India. And now we'll discuss about the large number of refugee influx into India by the Tibetan refugees. And the Tibetan refugees influx to India are made by four stages. One is in 1950s, and the second one due to the annexation of Tibet by China in 1959, and another stage of influx of Tibetan refugees in India in 1980, and the last one that was the influx of Tibetan refugees in 1996 in India. So, among the Tibetan refugees, as the major Tibetan influx of refugees in India was in 1959 when China annexed the Tibetan territory. So, the Tibetan religious head and the Tibetan leader Dalai Lama with his followers, they entered into India and settled at Dharamsala, which is in Himachal Pradesh also. They were settled in different states such as Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha, which are the provincial states of the Union of India. And almost in India, at present, the number is 94,232. 1,28,000. But as per the estimate of Government of India in 2009, there are almost 1,50,000 Tibetan refugees taking shelter in India, either in Dharmsala in Himachal Pradesh or in the provincial states of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, which are the provincial states of the Union of India. And now we would like to discuss about the Shakma refugees, those who fled from Bangladesh and their main influx in Indian territories were traced in the provincial state of Tripura, which is a neighboring state of Bangladesh. So, the very influx of Chakma refugees into Tripura, which is a northeastern state of Union of India, from Bangladesh. It started in 1960s, and now we would like to discuss about the Bangladeshi refugees influx. So, almost in 1965, the Indo-Pak War, which led to the influx of Bangladeshi refugees first time into India, and the major influx of Bangladeshi refugees was in the year 1971 due to the major war in between India and Pakistan, and by which the East Pakistan or Bangladesh was created, and that was the major cause for influx of Bangladeshi refugees who were found almost in the provincial states of Union of India, in major in West Bengal, Assam, Odisha, even in Andhra Pradesh. And now we would like to discuss the Sri Lankan Tamil refugees of the year 1980s. It was due to the Tamil Elam revolution that was started by the Tamil tiger Elam in 1980s, and most of the Sri Lankan Tamil refugees are settled, and their influx that we found in India in the state of Tamil Nadu, Odisha, and also in Andhra Pradesh and to some extent in the state of Karnataka. And also another major refugee influx into India is about the Rohingyas refugees of Myanmar due to the internal instability and civil war and the rule of the army in Myanmar led to, in recent years, number of influx of Rohingya refugees into India from Myanmar. And also we would like to discuss about the Afghanistan refugees. And those Afghanistan refugees, almost they fled due to the instability and continuing civil war in Afghanistan in between the established government and the Taliban's. Even after the establishment of the Taliban government, most of the religious minorities in Afghanistan, as the Hindu, Sikhs, the Parsis and Christians, even the Buddhists and Jains, though who fled Afghanistan and became refugees in India, show the very estimate of the refugee population in India is almost 4 lakh refugees at, at present in different parts of India. So, in spite of India is not a signatory to the 1951 Convention on the determination of the status of refugee, and also India is not a signatory to the Protocol of 1967. Besides that, India is hosting a number of refugees from different countries, such as the Jewish refugees, the Persian refugees, the Tibetan refugees, the Chakma refugees, the Bangladeshi refugees, the Sri Lanka Tamil refugees, and also the Rohingya refugees and the Afghanistan refugees. But the very treatment of the refugees are falling under the Foreigners Act of 1946 of India. So, as under the Foreigners Act of 1946, almost the refugees in India are considered as aliens. So, most of the fundamental rights, in particularly the political rights and the right to citizenships, are completely denied under the Foreigner Act of 1946. So, at present, as India has not signed the 1951 Protocol, a convention of determination of the status of refugee, and the Protocol of 1967. So India is only providing all kind of welfare facilities and settlement and camps to those refugees on humanitarian grounds with the assistance of United Nations High Commissioner Refugee, and also under the auspicious offices of the United Nations General Assembly. And at present, most of the refugees, those who are settled at different parts of India, are governed under the Indian laws enacted by the Indian Parliament. Besides that, the decisions of the apex court, Supreme Court, laid down that as per the provisions of Article 14 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948, and as per Article 13's provisions under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights of 1966, India is obliged on the humanitarian ground to provide civil rights, the rights to settlement, and other humanitarian rights. Those refugees who are settled in different parts of India, and in particularly the decisions and judgments of the Supreme Court finally let the burden of sharing refugee problems and crises on the state or the union government and on the state governments or the provincial governments in the Indian Union. And as regarding the context to citizenship, the very Foreigners Act of 1946 consider all the refugees in India of all the different categories as aliens, so they are denied citizenship. But in our next upcoming lecture, we would like to discuss the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, which made radical changes in granting citizenship to certain categories of refugees who are already settled in India or arrived in India.